This is the topic, one of the topics for tonight. The other topic is going to be about politicians, black politicians. And we're going to be talking about following up on last week. Should we be critical of them or should we just support them? I know we have to do both, but we want to go into that because a lot of the black communities right now have black politicians. So I want to go into the first one. Tonight is about blaming. It's not about blaming the teachers, as I said before. It isn't about blaming the parents. Tonight we're going to examine some numbers and some stats. So I hope you guys are with me so far. All right. So here's some numbers to look at. Nearly 45 million children attend American public schools. That's very interesting. About 15% of those students are black. Education is one of the biggest investments in America. So my question, if we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars every year, are we getting the results our children deserve? And so that's going to be very, very important that we talk about that. Very important that we talk about that. Let me go to the next slide. So, I'm sorry, I got my notes. I was trying to pull them up. Just want to make sure I can make sure the slides have all the stats. So, we're going to talk about fourth grade reading because you understand that fourth grade is critical. Fourth grade is kind of when you're finishing up elementary, going to middle school, junior high. So we want to look at these. Reading is the foundation of every subject, which we know. If a child struggles to read by the fourth grade, science becomes harder, history becomes harder, math becomes harder. So here's some stats nationally. Black students, 17%. White students, 40%. I want you guys to look at that now. I want you guys to really look at that and tell me if that makes sense. Because we have to start looking at things from a different level. We have to start looking at things from a different level. We have to start looking at things, again, I'm sounding like Brother Umar, from a different level. As he repeats himself all the time. It's very important to understand that at the fourth grade reading level, if you take 100 kids, only 17% of them are reading at a proficient level. Think of that. That's very important. And we got to start understanding and asking ourselves why this gap continues. Let's talk about math. And this is in all black communities in public schools now in the black community. Public schools in the black community. We're going to look at math. Math is more than numbers. So we're talking about math as far as being STEM, actually. Math and engineering, technology, medicine, finance. Nationally, we're talking about 20% of black students. 20% of black students are up to par in their math, according to the achievement gap, okay? While white students are 49%. So that means we're 29% below average in math in the fourth grade. Fourth grade. So this is why it's very important that we understand the system as a whole, because sometimes we see our students excelling, but we don't understand the mark and the benchmark of the school system. We don't understand it. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. Hold on real quick. So we're going to go into 8th grade now. So 8th grade. By 8th grade, students should be already be preparing for high school. So I want you to look back at what I did. I went from 4th grade because they're getting ready to prepare for middle school or junior high. And then I'm talking about 8th grade as they prepare for high school. So by 8th grade, hold on, I'm going to let somebody in the building real quick. So, sorry about that. So by 8th grade, students should be preparing for high school. So look at the national for math. 14% of our students in the 8th grade are up to par in math. White students, 41%. Now, nearly 9 out of 10 black students did not reach and I believe the proficient benchmark is created by NAEP. So nearly 9 out of 10 black students did not reach the proficient level in math in the 8th grade. We're going to talk about high school. High school. This is the graduating part. We're talking high school. Graduating is, of course, important because you can't even go to the next level. And because of our system that we're in, without a high school diploma, it's really hard to make it unless you have a trade. So, but graduation alone doesn't tell us whether students are prepared. So we want to look at it from a national level again. This is just public schools. White students, 90%. Black students graduating, 81%. That's only a 9% gap. Now, this stat is real important because it's letting you know that black students are graduating at 81%. I'm going to go back. They're graduating at 81%. So we are graduating at a high clip. But let's talk about the 12th grade. By senior year, students are preparing to enter adulthood. Nationally, 35% of seniors reach the NAEP, proficient benchmark in reading. 35% of seniors. 22% reach proficiency in math. My question is, how can students compete globally if these are the outcomes at graduation? Think about that now. 35% of black seniors are not proficient in reading. I'm sorry, let me go back. 35% are only reading properly. 35% are only reading properly. That's why I had to pull my stats up. 22% are only proficient in math. We have to start looking at the stats, okay? So let's talk about it. You know, we have 85% of our people graduating. We have 85% of our people graduating, but only 35% are good in reading and only 22% are good in math. So that's something that we have to look about. All right. So we talked about the 12th grade math. Maryland, and this is Maryland now. Now I'm breaking down Maryland because I want people to understand Maryland is considered one of the strongest education states. Yet, black students, 39.4%, are proficient in math out the whole state of Maryland. So first was global. First was throughout the country. Now we're just going to focus on my state, Maryland. And it's probably the same in almost all of these states. So black students, only 39.4 proficient in education as far as math. As far as white students, 67.9. So that's almost a 30% gap in white kids going to public schools and black kids going to public schools. And let's be realistic when we start talking about public schools. Majority of these schools in the black communities are all black. Majority in the white public schools are mostly all white. And then you even have to look at if they are combined, the total for black kids is not up to par as we would like. Let's look at and so math remains one of Maryland's biggest educational challenges. This is just in Maryland. But as you can see, it's kind of worse than the national. I could be wrong. I got to go back. White are proficient 67.9%. Blacks only 39.4%. That's like almost another 30% gap. So who's failed their children? Now, I'm not interested in blaming one group. So we want to talk about solutions. So we're going to bring our parents because that could be an issue as far as culture and our young parents. We're going to bring up teachers. And of course, we're going to bring up politicians. We're going to bring up organizers and communities, churches, mentors, probably. Everyone has to be responsible. But my question is for everyone that calls in today is give me 3 specific solutions to change this. No politics, no complaining, which we're going to do those. We're going to do those things, but we're going to have to come up with some solutions. Almost finished, y'all. Just wanted to go over these stats because I think sometimes we are not aware of the stats that we're getting into. And that's very, very important that we talk about these things. So who's failed our children? As you can see, have parents failed, have politicians failed, etc.? And I'm almost think I'm done there. And so we wanted to just look at that and just talk about the testing the scores and things of that nature. But I did something even deeper for those in Baltimore City because Baltimore is probably reflective of, let me pull that up real quick. Baltimore is probably reflective of a lot of city schools. So let's talk about Baltimore. I pulled this up on my phone. Baltimore City Public Schools serves 76,000 students. 76,000 students. So think about that real quick. Baltimore City services 76,000 students. And this isn't so we know Baltimore isn't a small school system. And it affects the whole future of our city. It affects the entire city. I am famous for saying uneducated people do uneducated things. So look at Baltimore, it gets worse. Only 13% of Baltimore City fourth graders reach the proficient benchmark in reading. Only 13%. That means 13 out of every 100 kids are reading properly. Here we go with math. Only 12% of fourth graders reach the benchmark in math. Let's talk about high school. Only 6.4 of the students. Now, this could be iffy because algebra is a little weird, but only 6.4 are proficient in algebra. So how can we prepare for STEM careers and stuff like that? Now, if we look at the graduation rate, 71.7% of our kids are graduating. I want you to think of that. 71% are graduating. 5-year graduation rate is like 74.6. So it even went up. So should we celebrate the improvement of graduation when the test scores are so low? And a lot of that has to do with the No Child Left Behind and things of that nature. So I'm going to bring in my first guest, Brother Charles. My first thing I want to ask you guys is, let's be fair, has Baltimore City improved with the reading? We're just talking about the reading and the test scores and things of that nature. And are these improvements enough? Baltimore City operates on roughly a 1.9, might as well say 2 billion budget. Baltimore City operates on a $2 billion budget. So are we seeing a return from our taxpayers' money, our parents and our students getting the education they deserve? So again, I'm not here to attack the teachers. I'm not here to attack the parents. I'm not here to attack the students. We want to talk about this because it's love. And sometimes our students are doing real well that we don't understand the situation with how they're scoring compared to others. I came into that issue when my son went to private school. And we were looking at a bunch of schools for him to go to. And one of the schools was a school called St. Paul's School for Boys. And I went in there, and of course this is private, so we're not comparing. And they were learning like Chinese in the 3rd grade. I was like, dang, But when you see how the private schools react and things of that nature, I'm not saying public schools should be that way, but I feel that in the education system, we need to have high standards because this is important. Just like we train our basketball kids, brother Bill Gooden said this a lot. We got to practice, you know, practice unity. Like I practice my football and basketball team. So just like we're talking about, hey man, we gotta win a championship. We gotta get a scholarship to go to college. We trying to get to the NBA or the NFL, or we trying to get to Olympics, and we gotta practice and we gotta compete. I want you to put that same thought process in a child that's smart and a child that wants to be the best academically possible. Are our libraries up to par? Of course not. But it's the inside the classroom up to par with other cultures. And I commend our students because they work so damn hard to compete with limited resources. So we understand historically we've done a lot more with a lot less. But everybody isn't an academic star. Everybody isn't an academic star. I had a and I'm about to bring in Brother Charles just real quick. I had an issue with not an issue, but I had it was a small debate with a person, and they were upset saying that they wanted their child to attend the HBCU because it meant so much culturally. The kid is like a genius, by the way. I think somehow they went to Yale or Harvard. And I definitely understood that. I went to University of Maryland Eastern Shore HBCU. But I also had to put myself in the kids' point of view because we always talk about athletes wanting to go to these SECs and these ACCs because they got the best gyms. Some of these college schools have better facilities than the pro teams. Yes, for my Raven fans, Alabama and all of them may have better facilities than the Ravens. That's serious. So it's hard to tell a person that wants to compete at the highest level to do something like that. It takes a huge sacrifice for our young adults. But think about it academically. Think about if you're going to be a researcher. You're probably going to want to be the best researcher in the world. Johns Hopkins, Yale, Harvard. And so how do we get to the point where we can get our everything that we do up to par? So what I'm going to do real quick, and again, I need everybody to please hit the share button. Do me this favor. It's absolutely free. Hit that like button. I'm going to go over the comments real quick, and then I'm going to bring Brother James in. Hey, bro, Neg Maron from New York City. I hope I said that right. Peace and blessings. Go over it real quick. AI view. Okay, that's an ad. All right. Think we almost done already. Not too many people speaking right now. I believe that's an ad. Okay, the bots are in the building. The bots in the building with the ads. Peace and power. Peace to Dr. Daw. Dennis Asar Winker. What's up, good doc? Okay. Brother Cliff. Peace and blessings, Brother Cliff. This is an important one, so jump on in. Uh-oh. Brother Bill, you wrote an essay here, but I got you covered. Hold on real quick. I'm going to get you back out there in a minute, Brother Bill, because that was a little long. I think I got you. Oh, wow. All right. So Brother Bill got something huge here. Let's see if we can pull it up. Oh, wow. This is huge, Brother Bill. So what I'm going to do is read it. Of course, as a whole, the public education system has failed Black children. There will always be a few to climb higher regardless, but for the majority, it has failed, and it is meant to fail. Of course, Black politicians should be criticized and called out. We need to know how to call them out. And yes, as for me, I'm going to support a Black person before I support another race. Race first. Especially when the other person is no better. Not voting does not help us because in the end, we will still have someone to hold office until we recreate another system that will work better. And until this country is ready to rise, and fulfill the promise of the Declaration of Independence when it states, when the government works not in the interest of the people, it is our duty and our obligation to overthrow the government and create one that will benefit the masses. To be clear, this is not just an overthrow by blacks. It is an overthrow by those who are not satisfied. Thank you, Brother Bill. Let me get this back up to red. There we go. Greetings, Sister B. Sharice Moore. Peace and blessings. Brother Cliff, the 20% number is bad, but even the 49% number indicates that less than half of even white students are considered proficient. Yes, Brother Cliff, that is true. I was going to speak on that. It seems that not only is the system failing our children, it's not doing so well for others. That is true, but it's really killing us. Peace and blessings. Shout out to Brother Corey Mormon. What's up, my good brother? We got to link up. Brother Cliff, again, the U.S. has such a technological, I'm sorry, Brother Cliff, I got my glasses on. Technological, I think that's what you wrote. Advantage, that's probably it. Has everyone else resources, advantage, has everyone else's resources and has access to this media, libraries, bookstores, and thousands. Yes. Okay, that's a bot. Technology is part of the problem, and we're going to bring in a brother to talk about that. Brother Bill, one solution is that the CEO of public school systems should get raises based upon performance, a base pay that should be at the entry level, and the success of the schools. Yes, they should be getting paid by the way the school system is. None of the above. Brother Keith. Let me know if you want the link. And I'm going to pause right here after this one more. Brother Bill wrote a lot there. All right, let's see. In schools, the majority of teachers need to be black as well. Yes, they do. So I'm going to read it from here. In the schools, the majority of the teachers need to be black as well as the administration. It may have to be the requirement for a parent to have a certain number of hours of participation. It would be good for students at some point to introduce the progressive organization and have to give a certain amount of time with the organizations. There's much to be done before any of it could be done. We have to be able to control the leadership, political leadership, and make them do the right thing. Yes, Brother Bill. Let me see. All right, always we at the end. B. Sharice Moore, I agree with Brother Cliff. My son will be in the 4th grade next year. I cannot tell you how often I've seen tests that lack validity and reliability, which are key when gathering data. This is true as well. And Ronald Reed, I think you in here, I'm not sure. The system has failed us for years. The politicians, the parents, and the teachers, they have all failed us. The children have failed themselves. I will say that when you're in the system creates a lot of this stuff. So, Brother James, you are up next. Hold tight, family. And I see you in the building as well. Reed and Malik, you are up right after Brother James. As you know how we do, let's play a quick ad, and then I'm going to bring Brother James in. This is real quick. I got to pay the bills, y'all. I got to pay the bills.
We've been told that our vote matters, but a question remains. Has it consistently delivered the results our communities have been seeking? Many believe the time has come to build independent political power, to organize, to participate, and to pursue a different path. The Newsome Party says it's time to put Black communities first. The choice has always belonged to us. Our vote, our voice, our future. The Newsome Party. The next chapter begins with the people.
All right, family, that's the Newsome Party. The Newsome Party. Go to the newsomeparty.com. That is a Black-owned political party. So as the conversation start, these type of conversations, and we start complaining about, you know, who is who and what is what, let's also look at the fact that we need to get our own political strategy. Political politics is the key. And so let's talk about that. We'll be talking to Brother Keith Scott about that, and some other later shows.